This is Barry Adamson, who I met when I was 15,
Right.
and then he wouldn't see me again for many years. But not that I did anything in particular right.
I don't know.
And
Never
he's
saw you again.
and he wrote the music for Dreams of a Life. Barry Adamson.
Howdy. Well, first off, I guess I just took the beginning as the beginning and saw that you were out on an investigation. I thought of that idea of like data and finding things and putting evidence together and how that's sort of very in the brain. So it was more dunk, 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 dunk. And then I relied on sort of like the period a little bit as well. To sort of maybe try and place us in the world and the colour of the instruments with the electric piano. And that was really the starting point. And I just tried to flesh out as much information as I could from the inside, if you like. And I sort of related, like everyone does, as we've discussed, to the story. And so it's part of my job, really, to sort of link those things together and make, a soundtrack that takes us, on the emotional. I mean, it's a very emotional film anyway, so I didn't have to do very much because all the information's there. I just had to sort of paint very lightly, really. I was all for working to picture, but you wouldn't let me. I think it's good in some cases because it gives the director freedom to keep on editing rather than feel they're committed to a piece of music at a specific place. In our film, I felt that we discussed it as well. There were several noir pieces, and you were going to use that one and then use it again, and so it would come. And it would sort of, for me, it was a centralised thing because it could get a bit like, okay, next, different bits of complexity, which you don't really want to push people away in that sense, from my point of view, anyway.
I'm very excited. You've got your gig on Thursday and a new album. What's your album called?
My album's called I Will Set You Free. And it's quite interesting because I kind of exhaustedly finished it, and then I think you gave me a ring the next day, and I thought, there's nothing left here, and I was just finishing it, so I knew I had another week. That was it, because I was saying, I'm still on this album. I've got another week to go, and in fact, I'm kind of grateful because there's a track on the album which is called "Looking to Love Somebody," which was kind of informed by the film in terms of its flavour and colour and tone, which I actually did a sketch for that we see in the film. So it's almost like it's now progressed and gone on, so that it turned into a reality, really. And then Herman walked out, and tried to stare me down. Yeah.
It's not about me.
Yeah, really.
It's about Barry.
See how he moves in. It's incredible, like, to actually have a glimpse into someone's life that you would pass, the person you might pass on the street. And then do that thing of almost like, okay, well, let's fly on the wall, follow you home. And then for a musician to go into their world and see what they were actually doing and how they were relating their music to where we were at that time was kind of fascinating in a way. And also the story of, like, you do have, aspirations to be successful, and whether you pursue them or whether you sort of decide to let yourself fall at a hurdle, or whether you just can't get over that. It's fascinating, really, and I think a theme I wake up with daily.